Good evening, and welcome to another one of my episodes of A Verse a Day Keeps the Muslims Away. Today I'd like to talk about your father. My father. Everyone's father. Supposedly. The very first man to ever have gotten laid. You might have heard of him. His name is Adam. As you know, all Abrahamic religions have the story of Adam as being the first man created by God, by Allah, by the higher deity. So let's see how the Quran, or how Islam takes its view on Adam. Adam appears 6 times in the Quran. There's 6 different surah where he appears. I'm not going to read all of them to you because they're very repetitive. They just repeat the same thing over and over and over. But here we go. First one is Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah, Quran 2, 30 to 39. Next one, Surah Al-A'raf, Quran 7, verse 11 to 25. And again, it talks about Adam and talking about how, Allah created Adam and asked the angels to bow down before him, and Iblis, which is one of the soon-to-be fallen angel, did not acquiesce to that. Alright, I'd like to move on to the next one. Al-Quran, Surah number 15, verse 26 through 44. Starting with verse 26. And certainly, we created man of clay that gives forth sound of black mud fashioned in shape. And the jinn we created before of intensely hot fire. Now the jinn is the same as Iblis, which used to be an angel and ultimately became a shaitan, or whatever. And when your Lord said to the angels, surely I'm going to create a mortal of the essence of black mud, fashioned in shape. So when I have made him complete, and breathe into him my spirit, fall down, making obeisance to him. So the angels made obeisance, all of them together, but Iblis, he did not. He refused to be with those who made obeisance. He said, "O Iblis, what excuse have you that you are not with those who make obeisance?" And I'm going to skip down to 37. And again, you have all these references online. You can check. It's just boring. Anyway, verse 37 says, he said, "So surely you are one of the respotted ones." This is Allah. "Till the period of time made known." Iblis replied, "My Lord, because thou hast made life evil to me, I will certainly make evil to them on earth, and I will certainly cause them all to deviate, except thy servants, from among them the devoted ones." Allah responded, "This is all right with me." And okay, now I'd like to look at this. So Allah created Adam from mud. He created the angels from other elements, like in terms of the jinn, Iblis, he created him from pure fire. So now Iblis did not want to bow down before Adam. That's when God, or Allah, sent Iblis to hell. Made him a shaitan. This does not make sense to me. If Allah is supposed to be the only person to whom you should bow down, shouldn't he have sent all the other angels down to hell? Because they bowed down in front of another person that's not Allah? The next surah is surah number 17, verses 61 through 65. Surah number 20, verses 115 through 124. Surah Sad, Al-Quran 38, verses 71 through 85. Alright, why did I mention all these verses? In all these surah that talk about Adam, only 2 of them talk about his wife. His wife, whose name is not mentioned. It only says for Adam and his wife to enter the garden. Alright, let's put this to the side for 1 second. Now I'd like to look at some hadiths. I want to start with Sahih al-Bukhari, book number 55, hadith number 611. Were it not for Bani Israel, meat would not decay. And were it not for Eve, no woman would ever betray her husband. Next one, Sahih al-Muslim, book number 8, hadith number 3471. Again, the Allah's Messenger repeated the same thing, saying, had it not been for Eve, woman would have never acted unfaithfully towards her husband. Third one I want to share with you is Sahih al-Muslim, book number 8, hadith number 3472. It's a long story, and then all of a sudden Muhammad just says, had it not been for Bani Israel, the children of Israel, food would not become stale, and meat would not have gone bad. And had it not been for Eve, a woman would have never acted unfaithfully toward her husband. Two things I kind of see from this is, the first thing, had it not been for Bani Israel, meat would not decay. Alright, I see where blame the Jews for everything started from. Now, the second thing is, talking about Eve. What does that even mean, talking about saying, if it were not for Eve, that a woman would have never acted unfaithfully towards her husband? I want to go back to the Quran. Surah 20, Taha, verse number 115 to 124, actually verse number 120. But the shaitan made an evil suggestion to him. Him is Adam. He said, O Adam, shall I guide you to the tree of immortality and a kingdom which decays not? Then they both ate from it, so their evil inclinations became manifest to them, etc., etc. So, here in the hadith, it mentions that if it were not for Eve, she would never act unfaithfully towards her husband. Well, first of all, there's nothing about infidelity in the Quran regarding Eve, but the only thing I can think of is they're kind of withdrawing from a Torah where Eve was the one who tempted Adam with the fruit from the tree. Now, here's actually the main question that I would like to ask Muslims, and this is question number 1, and I would love for you to answer me. Question 1. Where did you get the name Eve? Hawa. The name Hawa is not written anywhere in the Quran. It just does not exist. So, however, it exists in the hadith. So I'm assuming that you got the name Hawa from a Torah, where it lists her by name. Now my question to you is, how do you even know that was really her name? I thought a Torah and Al-Injil were muharrafin. Their words have been misconstrued, that they're not to be trusted, that Allah Anzal, He brought down this book because the Torah and the Injil, the Gospel, have both been deviated. So how do you know? Based on what criteria do you say, okay, we're going to believe this, but we're not going to believe that? That was my first question to you. Next, I'd like to go back to actually talking about Adam.